What is up, Filmatic? We're coming back at you with another episode of Summer of Stiller, and today, of course, Justin's back on the Summer of Stiller grind, and we're talking
What's
about
up?
one of I didn't say you could talk. We're talking about we're talking about one of probably the biggest Ben Stiller franchise, if unless I'm missing something. Night at the Museum. I know that everyone has at least seen the first one. Okay, maybe the second one. Definitely not the third one. Um, and if you do, it's probably a fever dream like it was for me. But yeah. So Justin, anything you want to say to start the podcast off?
Yeah, can we just get a round of applause for that fantastic introduction that we've
I
just seen?
oh, unfortunately, I don't have a applause sound effect, but I do have a uh uh um drums. So there you
Applicable.
go.
Yeah,
There it works. Same tier. Yeah,
nice.
that intro was kind of crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That was
crazy we were able to just come up with that on the fly.
on the
Well,
fly. We definitely didn't take too long to even. Yeah, no, that was crazy. I hope people like it.
yeah,
I hope
me
people
too.
like it. You guys go back and replay the intro right now if you want. Just pick up on those hidden details and Easter eggs. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna start the Night Museum episode. We're gonna try to power through. I know we've been kind of hit or miss on the length of these, but look at this guy. He's already yawning. Justin's tired, so we're gonna try to get through for him, guys. Pray for Justin. Get him
Please.
some sleep. All right. So let's begin with Night at the Museum, the first one, 2006. Okay. So this movie, directed, of course, by Sean Levy, who people might know. I think most recently from Stranger Things. He directed Stranger Things. I think he also directed Free Guy, that Ryan Reynolds movie. I don't know if you know
The
about
Adam
that.
Project.
Yeah, that one too. I haven't seen any of those, but I've
I've
heard mid
seen.
things.
I've seen Stranger Things.
Okay, is it good? Not that you have to
Um,
launch into Stranger Things, but like generally, like
right.
is it?
I was a big fan of the first season when I saw it. I think we were in like 10th grade when it came out,
Mm-hmm.
and I think from the first through third season, it gets better with every season.
Okay, that's cool.
But
That's
then the fourth season, which just came out over the summer, I think I
mm-hmm.
personally
Checked
did
out.
not like it at all. I think it was terrible.
Interesting. I feel like that's a hot take because I hear people constantly talking about Stranger Things nowadays.
True.
So,
I
um,
mean, yeah, I don't want to get into a whole
yeah, no, it's yeah,
thing
but
about it.
it's interesting. It is interesting, and it is connected to Sean Levy. Um,
True. I don't know why I have this memory of my brother telling me Sean Levy directed Finding Nemo. He did not,
he
but I just
definitely
thought he
didn't.
did for so long.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like besides the first night, okay, but I guess besides the Night at the Museum movies, like he seems to just be like a safe director, more or less, from what I've seen and heard. I don't know. I guess I really can't speak for the newest stuff with like Free Guy and whatever, but
I
it's
started
interesting.
Free Guy. Was not a fan. I didn't get more than like
He's
2 minutes into
yeah,
it.
no, it looked. I'm not gonna lie, it looked a little cringe. Well, I don't know. I saw some of the trailers and I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Taika Waititi's in it, but at this point,
Sure.
you know, I don't know. Also, Taika Waititi fucking flubbed the new Thor movie hard, so
Really?
yeah, it's pretty bad.
I
Um,
have not been keeping up with the Marvel movies.
yeah,
I
haven't aren't you like
finally,
20 movies behind?
no, literally, I finally watched the first Captain America movie
Jesus,
over
dude,
last spring break.
you're literally 10 years behind.
Yeah, I know.
That's insane.
Yeah, no, literally.
That's good. We got to catch you up eventually and talk about it. Um, but yeah. Oh, also, last thing on Sean Levy, he is directing Deadpool 3, confirmed.
So he really is just
Which,
going all out on working with Ryan Reynolds forever.
yeah, it's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that as a choice, as much as I like the Night Museum movies. I feel like uh, I don't know. I hope the script kind of carries it because it again. I don't know. I feel like he's not a bad director. He's just like okay. I don't know. I like Deadpool 2 a lot. I like David Leitch's take on it. I know a lot of people don't like Deadpool 2, but I was a big fan.
I honestly don't remember much about it. I remember I didn't dislike it, but I think I might have preferred the first one.
Yeah, no, I mean it's fair. The first one is like really, really solid and tight, and just it knew. I think Deadpool 1 knew exactly what it had to do, and it did it. And I think Deadpool 2 just suffers from, if anything, the reputation of 1 and being a sequel. But I think if people, and I want to eventually do an episode talking about it. But if people eventually, if people want to open their minds and look at it from a different perspective, I'd recommend watching it or rewatching it because I think it's really good and it's very comic booky in the best ways. But anyway, enough about Sean Levy and Deadpool.
I figured out
Yeah,
what I was thinking of, by the way. It was
yeah.
another guy, Andrew Stanton, who did direct Finding Nemo, who also directed another episode of Stranger Things.
Oh,
So I
okay,
was getting some
interesting.
confusion there going on. I
Okay, a
think
little
it is
mix up.
hilarious that the guy who made Finding Nemo did an episode of Stranger Things,
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
specifically in the second season.
I wonder, did he make? I didn't see. It's strange because obviously, like so many others, I've seen Finding Nemo like 100 times, but I
Right.
never saw Finding Dory, and it is directed by Andrew Stanton. Is that who that is?
Yes.
Am I? Is it a different? Am I mixing up the name?
No, that's him. That's him.
That's him. Okay, yeah,
I don't have strong opinions on Finding Dory. I remember thinking it was kind of overhyped when it
yeah,
came out. Like when I watched it, I was like, yeah, okay, it wasn't bad. But
yeah.
I
No, I
mean,
mean that's
Finding
fair.
Nemo is one of the best Pixar movies in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah. Oh my god, it's incredible. But yeah, so that's a little intro digression there. So let's jump into the first night at the museum. I guess we can. I guess no one seems to have a problem with this. The 3 people who are listening to these, let us know if you have any objections. But I guess the best way to keep going about this is doing the plot and then just stopping along the way. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I
Um,
guess.
yeah, yeah,
I feel like everyone has seen Night at the Museum, especially the
yeah,
people watching this.
right. Which is why I feel like this one will go kind of quickly in terms of plot
Right.
things.
I
Um,
was surprised how old it was, bro. Like,
yeah,
I mean, it makes
um,
sense because I literally have always just fucking known about it. I mean, it came out when we were 5. So,
yeah,
like, we're like, obviously, I had it, like, I remember famously, my family had a DVD of it that got, like,
hmm
scratched. And, like,
classic.
whenever I wanted to watch it, it was fucking scratched. And then at one point, we, like, went on a trip to this, like, house on Lake Lanier in Georgia. To, like, because, like, we were going to visit, like, old friends from when we lived in Georgia. And they were, like, had, like, a lake house. And they were like, come down to the lake
hmm
house, have a couple laughs. And I, for some
Nice.
reason, brought like we got a replacement disc for Night at the Museum, and I
Holy
brought
shit.
it, and then we left it in the DVD player there.
No.
Yeah. Oh no,
So
dude, that's what happened. It wasn't scratched beforehand. I left it in the DVD player, and then they mailed it to us. And when they
and
mailed
it
it to
was
us, it was fucking
scratched.
scratched. Yeah.
Oh my
So then it was
god.
fucked forever. Then.
Dude, the classic scratched seat DVDs are the ones that at least all of these like they still worked, but they would skip in the at a
Yeah.
certain point in the movie. Either skip or just stop, right? So like I remember we had a Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets DVD, which I was so young I didn't even know anything about Harry Potter, nothing that this was the second one, whatever. It's just like a movie. And I would always it would start and I'd see the fucking freaky ass at the time, the Dobby scene where he's in the
Oh, he's
room.
fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially back
Dude.
then, like when you're a kid, you see that
Yeah, I
CGI.
hated Dobby as a kid. He was so
Yeah,
creepy.
and then Ron and Harry would like get in the car and they'd start flying and like okay things are, and then it would just skip like an hour and a half. Like
Yeah, that's hilarious.
it's a classic. And then like just what's going on here? Like
Right.
it's and there were so many of those like that. I don't know how fucking DVDs would get scratched so easily if they were sitting in a
Dude,
fucking DVD case. I don't know.
probably from like little kids like handling them,
I guess I don't.
dropping
We
them
were
into
never
the.
allowed to like do any of that, but yeah.
I don't
Um,
know.
it's weird, interesting. I do think people should. Speaking of DVD,
Sure.
somewhere around here, I don't know where it is right now, but much like they say the someone's room is a reflection of their mind, right?
Hmm.
So much like my mind, this keeps getting further and further pushed in the back of my head as it becomes less relevant. But the Suicide Squad DVD, guys, it's still available. We have one contender so far, but this particular contender, and I don't have any fear saying this, and I'll explain why. Cheated. Okay, I won't say who, but someone on the podcast who's been on the podcast multiple times and was on one of the episodes. One of them, this one particular one, rhymes with Bauerbeist, but their partner, they told their partner to comment on the thing for the DVD. And look, I get it, everyone's just trying to help out, but look, come on. You gotta play the game, you know what I mean? You gotta actually listen to the episode and get to that point and comment. Right. Not saying, again, I have no fear saying that because I know that neither of them will be watching this right now. So,
so true.
Which is just cruelly ironic. But anyway, guys, I'm letting the rest of you know, the other two of you, that's still available. And if you are listening at this point, literally, what is stopping you? You see, like, what could be stopping you from just commenting? It doesn't have to make any sense. It could be a singular word. It could be an emoji. You could, or put it on your. Before I was saying put it on your story, but I guess you don't want to out yourself as being a film addict listener or whatever. But, like, come on, guys.
Hold on. Maybe I wasn't paying attention enough, but have you even said what it is, or is it just assumed at this point? Like, people know what you're talking about.
I think I mentioned it really quickly when I was talking just now, if that's what you mean.
Okay.
But yeah, it is the Suicide. No, I probably said it really quickly, but it is the Suicide Squad Blu Ray DVD. That is somewhere in my room. Yeah. In case it wasn't clear. I don't know anymore.
That's hilarious.
I assume it gets funnier the longer we do it. So
it does to me.
Yeah, that's what counts.
Right.
Anyway, jumping back in, Night at the Museum. You guys have seen this one. You know how it goes. We start off Ben Stiller.
Cecil?
Cecil. Gus. So it starts off in this one, of course. Classic Ben Stiller down his luck moment. Am I right?
Dude.
Because we're sensing a theme here in the summer of Stiller. Yeah.
It's just another movie in the Ben Stiller genre.
Truly. I can't think of a movie where he isn't, like, in some way, like, fucked. Yeah, like, I don't know. I guess maybe, like, Tropic Thunder. I mean, no. Anyway, whatever. We'll get into those when they come. But right. So down on his luck, he's divorced. He has a 10-year-old son, and he's worried that his son, isn't connecting with him as much anymore because he doesn't have a stable job and living situation. Also, Paul Rudd plays the stepdad, which is caught me by surprise because obviously when I was younger I didn't know who Paul Rudd was, but yeah, he does a good job in his little limited role. So of course Larry turns to a job at the Museum of Natural History, and even though he doesn't have the best resume, he strangely kind of gets in right away. And of course we meet Cecil, played by Dick Van Dyke, and his two friends whose actors' names I don't have pulled up or no, but
I know Gus.
Oh, Mickey Rooney. Yeah. Who got the third film dedicated to him, of course.
This is so true.
Yes, and
I unfortunately don't know the name of Reginald's actor.
Yeah, I'll look that up.
In my defense, I only know Mickey Rooney because my dad always pointed out every time we watched a movie when I was a kid, and didn't know Dick Van Dyke either until literally this time we watched through it and you pointed it out.
Yeah, no, they're all awesome actors, legendary actors. Reginald is played by Bill Cobbs, so shout out to Bill Cobbs. Jesus. Yeah, so they're the retiring night guard, and of course they're all played hilariously.
True.
Cecil is very charming. Gus is
It's
What
like
does he? What does he say to him?
furious.
He has some insane lines like
Yeah, he literally always just calls him like some random like 2-syllable word.
lunchbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got something to say, hopscotch?
It's always perfect. There's nothing better than Ben Stiller getting like yelled at and the face that he makes. Like
What?
it's
No, dude. He always. Yeah, it's just
it's
so Ben
awesome.
Stiller of him.
Yeah. So oh, also like the line in the movie, Cecil's like giving him like all the instruction manuals and stuff, like rushing to leave, and he's like, "Just don't let anything in, Larry, or out," and like closes the door. And like I don't know, I love that stuff in this movie. Like there's a lot of like I don't know, I guess cheesy is the word, but like you know what I mean. Very like
It's magical.
it's magical. It does have a magical vibe. And that score, by the way, that score is awesome. That
Oh, dude, it's so good.
that classic theme. It's great. So of course, you know, we move forward to Ben Stiller's first night at. Also, I want to point out in every movie that we ever have talked about on Summer of Stiller, we only refer to Ben Stiller's characters as Ben Stiller.
Yeah,
I just
true.
realized that, which is fun.
It was hilarious.
Of course, the first night, I think, iconic scene in everyone's mind where we just start getting things coming to life one by one.
Of
And
course.
you know the piles on first the T-Rex,
Yeah.
then the monkeys, then the animals, then the miniatures. Of course, we get that great scene with the miniatures where he gets tied down. Unless I'm mistaking when that takes place, but I think he gets possibly gets tied down in that first night. But regardless, we get great roles from Owen Wilson and Steve Coogan. I think Steve Coogan as the Roman and the cowboy. Octavius and Jedediah.
Jedediah. Yeah. Something I didn't like really pick up obviously as a kid. I see what I interpreted it as a child was just classic Ben Stiller's down on his luck. Like
Right.
I felt bad for. I'm like, I can't catch a break.
Right.
But watching it, you kind of see like the whole reason he was forced to take this job is because he is like just kind of like a good for nothing guy. Like,
Right. Well, he has the inventions thing, which I guess we didn't talk about, right?
well, at the beginning of the movie, he like is talking to his ex-wife, and it's revealed through conversation that like because of his like ineptness / laziness or whatever, he was like fired from his previous jobs and like evicted from his previous apartments.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. And then he's talking about like his like harebrained get rich quick schemes, which is
Okay, then
like
let's talk about
a virtual
snapper.
driving range. Okay,
Oh,
true.
yeah. The snapper.
You say, yeah.
Which is it's a great scene because of course it's just classic Ben Stiller like improv moment, but like he's describing that like his genius novel creative idea, which is you snap your fingers and the lights turn off. Of course, obviously there is the clapper, which already exists, which the lady points out to him. But I want to point out, we'll get to this in the scheme that we're describing it. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It just seems like a one-off joke. Okay, so the way that the snap. Okay, Justin. Justin doesn't agree with me, I think, as much on this, but it blew my mind. The return of this joke, like, because I don't know why, I just was not expecting it at the end of the movie. I was like, I don't know if it was late, if it was just late, or like I don't know, but like I was like laughing my ass off, and we'll get to it. But just remember the snapper, guys. Remember the snapper. All right.
Well, what I was gonna say was that we hear all this stuff, and maybe it's not evident. It's because he's like shit at his jobs and everything, and maybe it's like, man, he's just like caught in like a
rut,
vicious cycle of capitalism, you know?
Right.
But then he gets this job at the museum, you know, the job at the
title
museum
of the movie.
at night, and he's like handed this thick instruction book, and Cecil's like, remember, Larry, don't let anything in or out. Right, you know, exactly what you just said. And he immediately just like tosses the instruction manual on the desk and starts like playing with the like the relay system, and then just falls asleep for presumably who knows how long.
That's actually a good point. I guess I didn't really think about
just
that.
Like clearly puts no effort into his job. Like, didn't
Maybe,
actually like.
huh? Do you think they could have uh, dove into that theme more? Like, as a like, I feel like they could have turned that into something where it's like he's a slacker, he doesn't care, and he pays for it, of course, in that first night when
Right.
everything runs amok, and yeah. But maybe they could have added something where maybe towards the end of the movie, it's like he has to actually step up, which I guess he does, but I guess it's not as like it doesn't feel intentional. You know what I mean? That's the
Right.
theme of the arc of his character.
Okay, so he and experiences the first night. Everything comes to life and terrorizes him because he didn't read the instructions and he just
Right.
fell asleep. He quits after that. He gives up because he is a
He does give up
slacker and it's not worth the absurdity. Honestly, in that scenario, I
in this singular
sympathize with
scenario.
him.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
also probably quit. Actually, it would be kind of insane. I don't know. Who could say? Who could say? The point
What's
is,
it's understandable that he would quit after what
right,
happened to him. Yeah.
exactly. The reason he is forced to not quit is because he wants the job to impress his son. Not just to
True.
impress his son, but also to
The
maintain
woman.
the ability. True, but
See.
to
Yeah.
maintain
Anyway.
the ability to have and like see his son. Because if he doesn't have a job, his ex-wife is like, "Oh,
Ex-wife.
if it's good
Yeah.
for him to see you," etc. So like he's sort of the responsibility is forced upon him, but throughout the movie he kind of adopts it. And of course, as his character changes throughout the series, he now feels a sense of obligation to protect these exhibits and is
Mhm.
now out of his own volition going out of his way and taking them into his responsibility, even when it isn't anymore. So
Right. And then of course he also gets a love interest for no reason, but
yeah, a different one in
it's
every movie.
yeah he does. It's kind of messed up.
It's never
But
even explained.
it's not. It's literally just there for the sake of being there. I mean, you do get the funny scene. Oh, actually, I mean, I guess you could argue like she's like the historian or whatever, so she like I guess before he goes back to the museum, gives him information or like inspires him to do research or something of the like. I don't know if you remember this. They're like walking in the park when he's like going to coffee. What does he say? He has a funny line about a coffee meeting or something.
Little,
But
little like conversational download or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, it's like informational coffee. I think it was or something
You're right.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is funny, which is great. But yeah, I guess so. I guess there was some purpose, but like, and it did give us the funny line of informational coffee. But I don't know. Um, right. So yes, so he goes back. Obviously, he reads up, learns a little bit more about the exhibits, knows how to deal with them. Um, However, uh, there's also okay. So I think what happens, big thing that happens after that is then one of the Neanderthal gets out. Neanderthals get out, and one of them just disintegrates into dust.
Yeah. He escapes through a window that the shitty little monkey opens,
True.
and he burns up in the daylight because he can't. And he has like that haunting score music in the background, and he like
Yeah.
looks up at Ben Stiller in the window in the last second, and then fucking dies. And then he
Right.
gets hit by a car. Yeah, he turns into a pile of dust, and this street sweeper just like cleans it up, and it's fucking gone.
Right. Yeah. Just like had to be intentionally like funny, even though they were playing like sad music.
Right, of
Like
course.
it's insane. Um, and then of course, this leads to who we haven't talked about yet, Ricky Gervais's character as the museum director, um, like threatening to fire him. He has a great scene in this movie with Stiller.
The
God knows
laugh.
I'll butcher it if I try
The
to do
laugh.
it. But it's a funny scene where he's like pointing out to him that the exhibits are fucked up and whatever,
Right.
and he's
Something
comedy
absolutely.
blood bled.
Yeah, so true. That was
He's
something.
yeah,
I was just say he has like this hilarious like speech pattern where he will just like trail off and not finish any of his sentences.
funny is it? It's kind of like that.
and then he like
Yeah, just like yeah.
and he like pretends as if like it's so evident what he's gonna. He's like,
It's like
if you
smug,
so
like
much as
yeah.
do this again, I swear it will be it will. It, am I clear? Am I clear? Have I
It's a
made
good
myself?
accent.
It's like, dude, it's
Much better
so
than I
funny.
can
But
do.
like, the funniest one definitely is when like the Octavius is like in the stocks in the Wild West world, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Do you think that's funny? Because I don't. I think it's about as funny as a fence." It's like making like a random syllable.
It has to be the most underrated part of this movie, I think, is
That's
okay,
awesome.
and what's okay, put this on a grander scale. It's like they realized that and then gave us like 10 times that in the next movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the next movie, which we'll get to obviously, is like it's the base of the movie is structured on these little improv moments that Ben Stiller has with everybody. And it's with everybody from as small as Brundon, the security guard, to the main villain, Kamen Ra, to Napoleon, who's another villain. You know what I mean? It's awesome. It's just like perfect.
Yeah, it's
Um,
awesome. But what's interesting is that they get rid of Ricky Gervais's character's like speech, like trailing off bit. It's not even. He's in all three
that's a good
movies.
point.
In each movie, he has a smaller and smaller role.
You're
But
right. Yeah.
and in the second and third, he doesn't do that. Like he just
Yeah. I
talks
guess.
completely normally.
I wonder what that is. Maybe they specifically in that first movie like gave him room to do improv or something. I don't know, but it definitely
Right.
seems much more scripted in the
It
second
was
and
just trying to
third
do
movie.
improv, but couldn't come up with anything.
It just happened to be like comedically genius.
No, it's literally so fucking funny.
It's insane. If you guys are out there, please just look up Ricky Gervais Man at the Museum scene.
Yeah.
Just watch it if you don't remember or rewatch it, whatever. Okay. So yeah. So the fucking caveman is dead. Okay, and then the next night, after I guess reading up more, he's brings his son, Ben Stiller brings his son to the museum. He's like, "You're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe this, Morty. You're not gonna believe this." Fucking.
Say
What's
hello
his?
to Rexy.
Yeah, that's a good one. And of course, Rexy does not come alive. No one comes alive because the tablet is being stolen by Cecil, Reginald, and Gus.
Cecil Fredericks? Yeah, no, they're. Do we even
Yeah.
mention that the tablet even exists? You guys have seen the movie, you know.
Yeah,
how
that's what
it
I'm saying.
works.
Like at this point, like you know, there's a okay. If you don't know and don't remember and are listening to this, the reason that the museum comes to life is there is an ancient Egyptian tablet that is in the tomb of not Akhmenra, um, and every night it brings them to life. But the whole reason that Cecil and his friends were being shady was they're trying to steal this and sell it for retirement money. Yeah, so they're stealing it, and of course, this leads to a great. Well, I guess I'm skipping ahead, but he gets help from some of the exhibits to fight for the tablet back.
True. We haven't even
Um,
mentioned the supporting role of Robin Williams as Theodore Roosevelt.
I just felt like that was
Just
so implicit. In come on, how do you not know about? Okay, yes, Robin
obviously,
Williams.
why are we even doing the plot of this movie then?
I don't
mean, like
know that. I don't
everyone
know.
has seen Night at the Museum.
That's a good point. I guess yeah, yeah. Okay, you guys know how it goes. He goes and he goes and he steals it back, and well, there's a great scene.
Dakota!
Yeah, so there's two great scenes. There's the scene where they're Jedediah and Octavius are slashing the tires of the van.
Yeah,
Oh my god, it's so funny. It's like slow motion, and they're like, it's great. It's great.
it's like super up close with, and they're like fucking with the air valve, and it's like
Yeah.
blasting air, and they're like fighting
Yeah.
against it, and guys are getting like blown away, and then it zooms
Yeah.
out, and literally you just hear like a like
Yeah, I think
Like,
that
wait,
that
no.
shit will like never not be funny.
yeah, and they reuse that bit in every movie.
They do, and it was always funny to me at least.
Yeah, it's pretty
Um,
funny. Just the repetition, if anything, if
right,
nothing else.
classic. which leads to Cecil taking a stagecoach
True.
instead, which is pretty absurd and cool.
Right.
Um,
They
and Ben
got in his
Stiller chasing.
car, took off north, and crashed after 35 feet. That's amazing. How do you know that? It just pans over and you see the car.
Right, that which is you're referencing, of course, Sacagawea. If you don't remember, guys, Sacagawea.
Chicago.
Second.
Sacagawea. Oh, Sacagawea. Sacagawea.
Tracking the car, and it's a great bit. Of course, also there's the side motive of the historian woman who wants to get to know Sacagawea because she's writing like a thesis paper about her or something.
Carla Gugino. Otherwise, what I knew her as a child was the mom from Spy Kids.
True. That's a good point.
Yeah. It's another her and Ben Stiller, like, it's kind of like hinted at that there might be a bit of romance there, maybe, but it's purely professional little information download coffee.
Right, but then at the end of the movie, he gives her a very, he gives her a look.
Does he?
Yeah, you don't remember when he's like looking out at everybody? He sees his kids like partying with them, and
so
then she's like talking to Sacagawea, and then she like looks up at him, and he's like, he doesn't actually do a thumbs up, but he gives her the look like I want to come have sex with you. You know what I mean? Like,
of course. And then it's never ever mentioned.
And then she disappears.
She's not.
She
in
died in a car crash.
They never mention it.
Yeah. Rip her character.
True.
I wonder if they want. I wonder if they even like considered writing her into any more scripts, or she couldn't do it, or you know what I mean. I think it'd be funny because the next one obviously it's the Amy Adams romance. But anyway,
you heard of the Bechdel test?
The Bechdel test?
Bechdel test.
No, I don't think so.
It's like a test created for movies to see if they pass based on female representation in the movie. And the qualifications for it are that two different female characters have to speak to each other about something that isn't a man. And I think it's kind of an interesting concept. I think it's kind of limiting in some regards because, for example, the example that brought this to my attention was the movie Gravity with Sandra Bullock.
Mm-hmm.
Gravity spoilers coming up right here. I was just going to say, it doesn't pass the test, which on the surface level, just the fact, the binary yes or no doesn't pass the test kind of puts it in a black and white kind of perspective. So this movie doesn't pass the test, but also she's the like only character in the movie after the first like 10 minutes. It's just her. So it's kind of like it seems like it doesn't really always give the best like what's the word, like representation of the movies,
right? It does seem a little limiting, but it I guess it is a good like general test of like,
especially because it's so
offenders.
Like I feel like I was going through movies that I'd watched recently and so few of them actually passed it, but Night at the Museum did pass it, but only by the skin of its teeth, because it's like the end of the movie. Carla Gugino talks to Sacagawea,
right?
So, and it's about Sacagawea herself. It's not about another man. So,
right. Well, because the whole movie, I'm seeing this now because I looked it up. But the whole movie, she's like, I need to ask Sacagawea questions. What would she be like? What was it like being with those explorers? What are they? You know what I mean, for her thesis. And then all we ever see her do is like, "You're Sacagawea," like basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what this person is saying, at least. That's why it barely passes the test.
You rock. I think that's what she says.
Yes. Oh God, yes. We're talking about Ezra Miller. Let's not talk about Ezra Miller. Jesus Christ.
Last I heard, he was on a farm with a baby and a bunch of guns.
Yeah, and there were, quote, loose bullets around the baby.
Right, like in its mouth or something. Am I crazy, or where the hell did he get a baby?
I think the mother was like a fan or like part of his cult or whatever.
Right.
And she was just living with him for some reason. I guess we don't know why. But
dude, literally, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, last thing I can see here is August 7th. He was arrested for felony burglary in Vermont.
What the
He
fuck?
stole several bottles of alcohol from an, at the time, unoccupied residence. So
That's crazy.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. Because when this all started, okay, so it's funny just the filmatic timeline of it because we like haven't consistently been talking about it. We went from Schneider cut. Yeah, there's this weird video of like Ezra Miller like choking a fan, but it's a
Bro,
joke, dude.
and
If
we
you
were
go
literally
back,
defending.
that has aged so poorly.
Oh, I know,
That's like
literally.
it's bad if someone listens to.
We were like, no, dude.
She's
They were like,
laughing. She's
they were,
laughing.
yeah.
We
She's
also
laughing.
defended
It's really
Shia
just a
LaBeouf.
bit.
I know we didn't defend
Okay,
Shia LaBeouf, but
we defended Shia LaBeouf in the context of him not being racist in that video.
right, he was only asking for a cigarette.
He was
So,
unironically, why would he ask for a cigarette if he was racist?
but I don't know if you saw this, the most recent Shia LaBeouf stuff that came out. But have you heard of the movie Honey Boy that he made? Okay, it was came out a few years ago. It's about like his abusive. Well, his at the time he's like, okay, it's about the abusive relationship with my father. It's a true story. Recently, it came out. He said in an interview, he was like, "Yeah, no, that was all fabricated. I had a loving relationship with my father,
That's crazy.
which is I don't know, not like a he didn't like fucking do any Ezra Miller tier shit, but
Right.
just
Well, also,
interesting.
didn't he admit to like physically abusing his girlfriend, FKA
Oh
Twigs?
yeah, I guess yeah. Yeah, I guess
Right.
he's yeah. I didn't know too much about that, but
Yeah, I also don't know much about it. I just know that he like admitted that it happened, and
right.
I think he was saying it had something to do with alcohol abuse, if I remember correctly. And I also believe I remember hearing that he was like getting treated for it or something.
Yeah, yeah, she filed a lawsuit against him citing sexual battery, assault, and emotional abuse. Um, that's what I see from just a general search. Interesting. I think the Shia LaBeouf one definitely hurts a little more. Like Ezra Miller, like I knew him from fucking Justice League or whatever, and I
Person
mean
being
what
a
he's doing,
wallflower.
yeah, like obviously all the stuff he's done is terrible, but like just like wow, that Ezra Miller's crazy. But Shia LaBeouf, it's like come on, man, those Transformers movies, you know,
Dude, Transformers, Surfs Up, Holes. Bro,
it's
you're gonna
like
tell me Stanley
it always
Yelnats?
yeah. It always hurts when like someone you like grew up watching, ends up being a
Yeah.
complete asshole. But it's the way it goes, I guess. At
That's
least we
how I
have Ben
felt about
Stiller.
Johnny Depp for so long. Back when
It's
everyone
controversial.
believed Amber Heard.
Yeah, I didn't really follow the case things too much, and I don't really want to. Yeah, I don't know. I do think it's probably more complex than black or white. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, definitely like that stuff in the beginning was bad, dude.
She
But we
shat on
lost
his
it.
pillow.
True. Biggest thing is we lost a Pirates movie because of
No,
this
seriously.
whole chicanery, dude.
And I like Mads Mikkelsen more than the next guy, but his recasting and honestly kind of dodged a bullet because that movie was fucking asshole. Holy
I
shit, it
heard
was
it was
terrible.
bad, dude.
Dude, The Secrets of
Dude, it's
Dumbledore.
crazy because I was obsessed with Harry Potter all through elementary school,
Yeah, of
most of
course.
middle school. But I never saw any of the Fantastic Beasts movies, and I
Okay,
don't feel like I missed out on anything. I do want to see the first one though. I want to see the first
the first one I liked when I first watched it. I rewatched it over the summer, and I was like, yeah, it's okay. It doesn't have the same magic that Harry Potter had.
one. Right.
It doesn't feel like the same movie. First of all, there's Americans in it. Okay,
It's
it's not
weird.
in London, or I guess Hogwarts is in
But I guess
Scotland,
the
but it's
whole
not
point was
in.
that it's not supposed to be the same thing, right? It's supposed to be like
Yeah, I
just in the
know. It just
world,
wasn't
but like
cool. Like the coolest part is seeing Newt Scamander like chilling with insane like fictional animals,
right.
and in each movie that becomes a less and less focus.
Right,
Like
even though the title of the movie is Fantastic Beasts.
right, like in the first movie, it was decent. The movie's about him like trying to recover them, I think, or something like that.
Right.
The second one and the third one, I feel like it like shows a little bit of the beasts at the beginning of the movie, and then it's just about other stuff. The second one was also terrible. Oh, also hilarious. Ezra Miller is in all three of these movies.
I did hear that. Dude, I just wonder what they're gonna do with the Flash movie. They had it, dude. They had it ready to go. It would have been out by now. I think
It's probably just not
around
going
this
to come
time,
out, right?
whatever, sometime around this time.
It's probably just not going to come out, right?
The problem is they sunk so much money into it that, at least from what I'm reading, that they don't know what to do because of how much money they've spent on it. They can't afford to like not release it slash put it on streaming. Um, I think what's hilarious though, and I do think I did mention this on one of the podcasts, maybe it was the Slap one or whatever, but like if they had just released it as planned when the original things were coming out, like way originally when people were still like very vague on it, there wasn't really any solid details or whatever. They
Right.
probably wouldn't have been fine because they had plausible deniability of being like, well, we didn't know. We've had this plan, we didn't know all this shit was gonna. But now at this point, they put themselves in such a position where it's like, what do you do? Like,
Dude,
you know what I mean?
watch me have sympathy for them. Dude,
Watch me have sympathy for a multi-million-dollar corporation. I never knew this
yeah,
would happen, but
I made some pea brain decision to try it. Because obviously they knew about Ezra Miller. They were just like, oh,
yeah,
maybe we can do it fast enough. People won't notice. And obviously, they had to be quicker than that.
yeah. I don't know. It does suck for like the people who worked on the movie on a smaller
True.
level.
That is
Michael
true.
Keaton's in this movie. Fucking like, there's a new Supergirl in this movie. There's like all sorts of things going on. Ben Affleck's in this movie.
Oh, yeah, dude, rip Ben Affleck, bro.
Yeah, poor guy. Not poor guy, I guess, because he's marrying Jennifer Lopez. He doesn't have to worry about fucking keeping up the standards of being Batman anymore after this
That's
Flash
true.
movie. He's a multimillionaire. I mean, maybe not Rip Ben Affleck. Maybe you're fine, Ben Affleck.
True.
Anyway, that was her little celebrity gossip interlude.
Yeah, back to Ninth Museum.
Back to Night at the
Uh,
Museum, which I think we're pretty much finished. I mean, obviously they retrieved the tablet, so on
oh,
and so forth. Oh, okay.
no.
I do think this is interesting. Is because of the events of retrieving the tablet, there's like footprints, dinosaur footprints in the snow, and like caveman
Of
drawings in the
course.
subways and whatever.
Dude,
And
the
this leads to
hilarious news
public
footage.
thinking. Yeah, go ahead.
Just cavemen, like, lighting a fire on the roof of the museum, like, jumping up and down, hooting.
Right, and of course the public copes with this by going, "Oh my God, this is a crazy promotional campaign by the Museum of Natural History to get us
Right.
to come to the museum," which leads to a huge increase in uh, people coming, which gets Ben Stiller his job back again.
Yeah.
Um, the ending is pretty fun. It's a fun like family ending. I feel like it's, of course, the iconic, since it being a kid, the Earth, Wind, and Fire. You
Of
know,
course.
I don't know. It's good vibes, and of course, this leads to what I mentioned before, the last frame of this movie. Okay, listen, guys, listen. All right, the snap, the snap light joke happened in the first 15 minutes of this movie, and the last frame of this movie is Ben Stiller looking out at the crowd. Okay, looking out at the crowd. Everyone's having good vibes. He's like, "Yoo!" And he pulls out his flashlight, does a little spin with it, turns it on, does a little spin with it, puts it back in the holster, and then snaps, and it turns off. Okay? Is it just me, guys? Is it just me? I don't know. I'm, um, I feel like I'm going insane. I think it's great.
It is
It's
funny.
funny. It's fun. I think. I just feel like you have. It's genius writing. Okay, guys.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I don't know. It also just caught me by surprise so hard because I didn't remember what it was. And
There's the
anyway,
after credits scene that shows that Cecil, Gus, and Reginald weren't actually arrested for trying to steal the tablet, which, by the way, they were trying to steal because it gives them like super strength.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. There's like they're like fighting. Like Larry's like, all right, give me the tablet back, and like obviously you're under the impression these are just old men, and then they just like do like flips and like kick Larry in the face and shit. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Little
but
bit
right,
of
they don't.
yeah,
I was just gonna say they don't get arrested because Larry just tells them, "Yeah, you guys can just clean up the museum, the mess that's been made, and then you'll be fine."
yeah. That was yeah. I forgot about that. That's funny. It's a funny bit of trivia I read was there's a part where the guards are chasing Ben Stiller up the stairs in the museum, and they all required stunt doubles except for which you can guess which actor of the old guys did not require a stunt double to run upstairs. I want you to guess.
Mickey Rooney.
No.
Is that wishful thinking?
Yeah, that's wishful thinking. It was Dick
It's
Van
gotta be
Dyke,
Dick
of
Van Dyke.
course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. He's like 98 now, and he's like insane. Like, I don't know if you've seen any videos of him. He did some promotional video when the election was happening, talking about like the right to vote and stuff.
Interesting.
The guy's healthy. It's good for him.
Yeah, that's fantastic for Cecil.
Yeah. um, any other trivia that I had read? I'm trying to see. Didn't really. I mean, I don't know. Where do we think? Or is it ranking time?
Could be, yeah. Just for trivia, if you're interested, my my DVD of Night at the Museum, um,
Mm-hmm.
the cut is between. It's when he's looking out at the giant mess made by all of the exhibits that are having a giant war in the front lobby, and he gets Rami Malek as Ahmed Rad to come and like quiet them so he can like tell them we need. He's like guys, we need you to work together so we can get the tablet back. South, you lost. Okay, slavery's bad.
Yeah.
You got NASCAR and the Allman Brothers. It's okay.
Dude, I
Like
forgot about that. That line is insane. Holy
right, but
shit.
right before that, like when he's looking out over the crowd, that's when it freezes, and then it like jumps to like pretty much like in media res of like the climax when Robin Williams is cut in half and Sacagawea is melting him back together.
That's insane.
It always sucked because I, as a kid, just thought the joke about them, their like reparations for losing the war was the Allman Brothers in NASCAR. I thought was so funny. So
Yeah, no, I never
I
picked up
was
on
just pissed I
that.
could never get that joke because it was always
Yeah.
cut out every time.
Wow, that's crazy. That's messed up. Um okay, yeah. So you have the ranking thing ready?
Yeah, pulled up. I
Okay.
already have Night at the Museum like loaded into it. Just need to put in the numbers.
Okay. Um so rating it out of 10.
Hmm.
Man, this is a crowded arena for sure. Um
True. It's like
See,
is it
God, man, I feel like if you want, we don't have to do it this way, but if you want, we could rate them all after we're done talking about them, or do you want to keep going one by one?
we can go one by one and then just like go over them maybe.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to check. So I feel like Battle of the Smithsonian has like more jokes and more like outright comedy, the way that I was talking about the improv, which means I'd like it a little bit more. But Night at the Museum 1 is just so tight as a movie. It's
Right.
like
It's perfect.
it's yeah, jeez, man. This might change later. But I'm gonna say tentatively. I'm gonna say 9.
9.
Yeah,
Damn.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's too iconic. It's too powerful in the not only the realm of Stiller but the realm of family movies.
True. Bro,
So
Reality Bites is far
taking a
behind.
beating. Where is that? Like 4, 3 or
3.5.
something? Oh my god.
3.5. Currently, you just beat your previous highest score, which was Meet the Parents with 8.5.
Yeah, that is. I think that lines up. I think that lines up. For me personally, I think that lines up.
Honestly, I was thinking 9 as well. Because, I mean, am I really going to be out here saying Night Museum is worse than Heartbreak Kid? No.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I was
Alright, I'll
saying.
give it a 9
Yeah,
as well. It's
let's
so
go.
good.
It is. It is.
You
It.
know what we
I
could
think it'll stand the test of time.
True. What we could do, it's kind of a fun interactive thing, is after we get our rankings, we can then use them to format like the battles where like it's two v
The
two
tier.
that eventually like
Yeah, the tier
equals
or
to
the
top tier.
bracket
Yes,
fight.
brackets
Yeah.
exactly. We
Yeah.
can use our ratings to create the brackets, and
Oh, we
then
can.
do
Yeah,
a
there's
vote.
literally a site for that. I was looking at.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and then we can do a vote on Instagram or something. Like every day, it'll knock
dude,
one out or something.
that's smart. That's smart. We should. I'll write that down. That's good. All right.
Dude, I saw Colton again, by the way, on campus.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
dude. Colton, if you're out there, reach out to us, man. We're looking to have you on the
Why
podcast.
don't
Let
we
us
just
know when you're
reach,
free.
reach out to him?
Colton, we'll be in touch.
I won't, because I don't have Instagram anymore.
True.
But as I'm sure everyone is aware, based on the little clip.
Dude, okay, let's talk about the clip for a second. That shit went relatively, in terms of our project, went viral, okay? We're talking about, like, possibly the most viewed video we have on YouTube. Definitely the most interactive post we have on Instagram. I got messages from people that I haven't talked to since high school. Shout out to Bettina, Damian, and Jay Condopoli. um, you know, I was talking to Darian about this, and this is something maybe people can comment on. Darian, okay, well, Darian was kind of talking about a more extreme version of this, but like talking about how good that clip was, and how good he thinks that you and I specifically, but also just generally with the podcast, like all of our comedy bits together can be just outside of movies, and was talking about like how good it would be to like as an idea, like to not like change the whole podcast. I guess this part is up for debate, but like pivot to just us like talking about stuff and just like doing
Like, not even
just
specific movies.
just like talking.
That would have to
He's
be
like,
a different podcast, though.
yeah. Well, he was like, if you guys did a podcast like the Joe Rogan podcast. Oh God, I hate bringing, but like not format wise, like the Joe Rogan podcast where you're just shooting the shit. He was like, it could be very entertaining. So like,
You can see that.
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it'd be a pain to like make a different podcast and like
Right.
brand it differently and everything. But I don't know.
You pretty
Guys,
much
let
have
us
to
know.
start over.
Yeah, that'd be a pain. But I mean, infamously, Sophia Martinez did tell us the same thing.
True.
2 years ago or whatever. So, guys, if you have any comments about that, make sure you drop them below, as if you will.
Yeah, true.
You won't even comment a singular word for a DVD. Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna comment on and give us feedback on the podcast. Anyway,
It's crazy how long ago the Shrek podcast was.
yeah, we're talking like a year and a half, possibly
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
That
you
was
gotta what?
not my first that I was on.
No, you were on one of the quarantine ones.
Yeah,
That was one of your first ones when you were in New
Yeah.
Zealand,
true. Yeah.
and then
I'd stayed up and I was like on the podcast my time at like 6 or 7 in the morning, having not gone to sleep.
sheesh.
Yeah, because
Those are
I
different
was,
times.
what was that, like 16, I think, or 17 hours ahead.
Oh my
Brutal.
God.
Yeah,
But at least back then it was quarantine, no school.
right. Unironically, my sleep schedule was like that regardless of the podcast, so it didn't affect that.
Tier.
But I was like literally waking up at like 8 p.m. and like going to bed at like 10 in the morning.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, guys, check those out. Those quarantine podcasts are real gems. And I think they kind of lend to that format where we're just talking about, I mean, yeah, like we're talking about movies, technically, but like we go off topic all the time and have little bits and stuff. So yeah, those are good. All right, I guess we should speed up and dive into
Sure.
Battle of the Smithsonian.
Stacked
Uh,
cast, bro. When we were
oh
watching the
my
opening
god,
credits, the names just kept coming.
star studded, guys. We're talking Ben Stiller. We're talking Amy Adams. We're talking Owen Wilson. We're talking Hank Azaria. We're talking Robin Williams. We're talking John Bernthal. We're talking Craig Robinson. This is off the top of my head. I'm trying.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you got Robin Williams, Rami Malek. I don't remember which one you
Right.
said. You got
I said Robin.
Jay
Yeah.
Baruchel has like a small bit in it. Obviously, Jonah
And he has a
Hill.
post-credit scene.
Yeah, true. I feel like we're forgetting.
We're definitely missing some people, but there are so many people in this. Some of which aren't even credited in the main credits.
Like pretty much all of the big names from the first movie.
Ed Helms is in this for a minute.
Yeah, true. So true, actually. What's his name? George Foreman is in it.
Oh yeah, that was so weird. Yeah, so I guess we can start with that because that's the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because the movie starts 3 years after Night at the Museum, and Larry Daly now runs his own direct response television company that sells inventions that are kind of based on his experiences at the museum. And it starts with him. It starts with a little ad where it's like Ben Stiller voicing over a in-studio commercial. By the way, the guy in that ad running around is Sean Levy. I don't know if you caught that.
I did not.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't mention it when I saw it, but it was him. What is he advertising? Glow-in-the-dark flashlight. That's what it is. Glow-in-the-dark flashlight. I was pissed off because I'm like, you went through the trouble. Listen, I'm going to get back on my snaps soapbox again, all right? You went through the trouble of doing the snap joke and then making it the last joke in the first movie. And you're not going to start it off on this movie as being a successful invention. It makes no sense, writers of the Museum Battle.
True.
Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, even if you like the joke or not, tell me I'm wrong. I mean, come on. I mean, it's... Anyway. Also, I want to mention, in the Night of the Museum Battle of Smithsonian PC game, which I downloaded and played for 30 minutes, the beginning of that starts with a scene that's kind of like this, but it's like a cutscene of video game Ben Stiller on a talk show. And he's like... Also, Ben Stiller voices himself in this game, which is awesome. Anyway... He in this ad in the in-game version, he is advertising the Snap flashlight. What happened here?
The game is more like has
the
better
game is
continuity.
far more canonical than the movie.
Right.
You heard it here first. Yeah, and then of course in the movie George Foreman is there, and he's like, "What's up, George Foreman?" Yeah, he's like multiple times. He's like, "Yeah, George Foreman." It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Eugene Levy voices the Einstein bobbleheads.
Oh yeah. I thought it was someone else.
Has to be an eyebrow joke, right?
Must be, right? I don't know what else it would be.
I was looking up which of the characters Hank Azaria voiced because I knew it was probably several. And
multiple.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln, the Thinker, and of course Kamran Ra.
Yeah.
And when I was looking up Hank Azaria, I saw one of the images suggested was him in a Speedo buff from Along Came Polly. And it was under the article, The Search for... Let me find it. The Hunt for the Worst Movie of All Time. And I'm like...
What?
First of all, Along Came Polly was not bad. And so I clicked on it.
You didn't think it was great. But anyway.
Yeah. Worst movie of all time. Anyway, I click on it. It's from 2011, right?
Different time.
And I can, without subscribing, I can only see a very small portion of the article. And it is this...
What website is this?
Stereogum.com. It'll be in the annotated bibliography.
True. Send that link in the chat. Yeah.
True. Yeah, I will. It's like this weird... It's like that kind of cringy, like opinion piece style where they're like really trying to be funny and they think they're like
Yeah.
it's like how I thought it was cool to write when I was in like elementary school and I had to do like creative writing projects. It's like Hank Azaria's body in Along Came Polly is weird, right? Do we all agree on that?
Weird.
Yeah,
Weird? What?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's literally the most pea brain. Oh, dude, it's cringing on me. I'm gonna subscribe real quick with a throwaway email.
Bro,
So
there's so many takes to have on someone being jacked, but weird is not one I would expect.
yeah,
It's so weird.
and that's what they said. They're like, do we all agree on that? At the very least, can we agree that it's unexpected? If I can't get a flat out weird, I'll take a mumbled surprising for sure. I will admit,
What?
it did surprise me. I was surprised.
I was
But,
surprised, but I was
but
in a good way.
weird
I was
did
like, "Oh my
not.
god, yeah."
Yeah, no, definitely in a good way. But I certainly was. The word weird did not come to mind. It seems so like rude towards Hank Azaria as well. It's like so unnecessary.
Yeah, I saw you in a speedo in the new movie. It's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird of you,
A little
bro.
strange, little quirky that you would do that, but you know,
Dude, should I pay $110 a year for fucking Stereo Gum VIP membership?
yes.
Dude, that's preposterous. If
I
any of
think
you
we should become
listeners have
writers for
done that,
Stereo Gum.
dude, we easily could.
Should we do that? Should we just become writers for Stereo Gum as an inside plot just to derail this article with our own trumping article about how Long Came Collie is one of the greatest rom-coms of all time? Hmm?
This
Guys?
guy, I'm looking at other stuff he's done. He seems like a fucking no life. Just like, what is this kid? His name is, I'm gonna call him out. His name is
Yeah, call
Gabe
him out. Dox him.
Delahaye. He hasn't,
Gabe Delahaye?
yeah, Gabe Delahaye. He hasn't written anything in 9 years, and they're all like really cringe sounding.
Alright, this is a
Comic-Con is
message.
humanly impossible.
This is a message for Gabe. Gabe Della, hey, maybe you should quit being a writer. Sorry.
He just keeps doing it. Oh, that was fucking
It's a great.
hilarious.
Yes.
Okay,
But
dude,
yeah.
what the hell? He just has one article. They're all like, it's either the title of an episode of a random TV show, or like something that's trying to be funny, like breaking. Al Roker pooped his pants at the White House. Stuff like that. And then one of them is
Riveting.
just, eventually the world will be covered in ash and silence.
Jesus
Dude,
Christ.
this guy is scaring me.
I need to go from Al Roker shitting his pants at the White House to fucking what?
Dude, maybe
That's
this guy's
insane.
hilarious secretly. He just has an article called Words to Live By from actor James Dean.
Interesting.
As if he wasn't an actor or something, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, so guys, check that out in the bibliography. Should we get to the movie? So yeah, he's not working at the museum anymore. He's doing his inventions, and then he stops by the museum, and Ricky Gervais is like, "Hey, they're moving all these to the Smithsonian now. Guess it wasn't so good in Fantasyland, was it? Or some I can't do anything with like that. And of course they're being replaced by holograms, which is pretty funny. So Larry decides to spend one last night with them, and then also Robin Williams is like, "Hey Larry, just so you know, they're gonna be leaving the tablet here. So all the people who are leaving are actually dead, and they don't know it, which is pretty fucked." But yeah. So the next day, Larry gets a call from Jedediah on his cell phone, which is pretty funny. He's like, how are you using the phone?" Um, and tells him that the monkey stole the tablet, took it to the Smithsonian, which means now everything in the Smithsonian is alive. Um, so of course Larry travels to DC,
There's also
and
like just a really heartbreaking scene where like Theodore Roosevelt is
true,
going to be staying at the museum with the tablet where he'd be waking up, right? But
hmm
Sacagawea, who he's now in a committed long term relationship with, is being sent away without the tablet. So she's essentially dying, like you said. But he's going to keep
right.
having to wake up every night and know that she's gone. But she
That's
doesn't
a
know
good point.
that. She thinks he's coming with her and that the tablet is also coming.
hmm Yeah, yeah, no, that's true actually. Um, yeah, and so Larry gets there. Of course, he encounters Brendan. Uh, you know, and that leads to one of the greatest comedy scenes to have been created in the last 15 years. All right, guys. um, yeah. So, um, eventually he gets in, finds them all frozen, protecting the tablet in a shipping container, in front of the villain Kamun Ra, who is Achman Ra's brother, and they all come to life. And Larry meets Kamun Ra, and I feel like the plot is getting a little difficult in terms of this kind of stuff because, like, again, like I feel like almost every scene, like it's like Ben Stiller little improv scene with someone, and then he goes and runs somewhere else. There's like some light action, and then there's another improv scene, which is great. I'm not complaining, but it does make the plot description a little rough around the edges. Um, yeah, so you know, um, Common Raw doesn't know how to use the tablet and tasks Larry with no. So okay, so first Larry gets away with the tablet. Common Raw sends his goons to get the tablet from Larry, consisting of Napoleon, Al Capone, and Ivan the Terrible. And they go, and Larry encounters all sorts of different things at the museum, Smithsonian Museum, trying to escape and free his friends. Of course, then Common Raw uses Jedediah as a bargaining chip, as a hostage to get Larry to figure out how to use the tablet because he doesn't know how to use it because he wants to use the Common Raw wants to use the tablet to bring the dead back to life. Something something army, something something, you know. Um, and then of course Larry meets Amelia Earhart, played by Amy Adams. They get a little love interest thing going. Um, she talks pretty funny. She has a funny like 20s accent sort of thing going on.
A
It's pretty good.
transatlantic moment.
Yep. Also the little painting sequence, which we didn't really talk about, where they dive into the painting of the guy kissing the girl. Classic painting. I don't remember what it's
Classic
called.
statue in Sarasota.
True. Of course, it's all come to life, and that's where Jay Baruchel is as one of the soldiers. And
Also, that's a photograph, not a painting.
that's what it is. Photograph, not painting. Yeah. Um, yeah. So that was a cool sequence. And then, I mean, this is really just a series of them running and encountering different exhibits. They encounter Abraham Lincoln. They encounter, they get to the Air Force Wing and they encounter, um, the Tuskegee Airmen and, like you said, Einstein. All these people. Um, there's a little funny side plot going on where Octavius is trying to get back and free Jedediah. Um, there's a part where he tames a squirrel. No, before he encounters a squirrel, he's gonna storm the White House,
Yeah, he's
which I did
specifically
not
going to get.
remember.
He's supposed to get the president's help.
Yeah, Yeah, which was
Which
insane.
we're this close to a fucking Obama scene in Night Museum 2.
So close. So close. Why didn't it happen, man? God. Um,
Uh, my fellow exhibits. We're not gonna go to that.
dude, you know how much money I'd pay to see an Obama Stiller
Where's the
comedy
Obama
scene?
cut? Okay.
Where's the Obama cut? Um,
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. That's also the
yeah,
scene where they do the zoom out bit again.
right. Yeah, no, it was pretty funny. Yeah, so then Ben Stiller and Amelia Earhart like hijack a plane and crash it into the other part of the museum, and Kamen gets the combination from them, and there's a big fight where all the exhibits are fighting each other, and then uh, Ben Stiller gets has a final fight with Kamen, which I thought was pretty cool, pretty fun. He fights with his flashlight. There's multiple moments where he uses the flashlight like it's a fucking lightsaber, and he has the force. Like, there's when it starts. I don't know if you recall this, but Kamen like overhead swings the sword at him, and then Larry like does this, and the lightsaber like flies out of his holster into his hand.
I do not
He's
remember that.
Dude, he literally multiple times uses it like it's a fucking lightsaber.
That's
Like
absurd.
impossible. It's awesome. It's so funny. Um, and then he has a pretty fun fight with him, fighting him with the flashlight. And okay, once again, missed snap joke opportunity. Sean Levy, writers of this movie, you're out there. There's a part towards the end of the fight where he blinds him with the flashlight. Why doesn't he snap? Come on, guys. You're the ones who set this up. All right,
True.
I'm only working off of your logic. Anyway, the door to the fucking fucking underworld is open, and there's like bird creatures and shit, which are kind of freaky. Bird human things and bird person, and Ben Stiller wins the fight, of course, and Kamen Rider's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm the night guard," and like pushes him into the portal. It's awesome.
True.
Uh, also, I guess we didn't talk too much about Common Raw, but this is really we talked about this a little bit in the last episode of Summer of Stiller, but Hank Azaria, guys, once again, just totally underrated comedic actor in general. He's great in this. He does a fucking Boris Karloff accent in this movie. He specifically mentioned that in something I read where he based his voice off of Boris Karloff.
Dude, who is that?
He's a famous actor from the fucking like 1940s. He was in the original like Mummy movie.
Who's in the original Night Museum?
He was wasn't the Mummy? No, sorry, Frankenstein. He was in the original Frankenstein in 1930. Yeah, I read in the trivia thing when we watched it that Hank Azaria filmed like test scenes. Apparently, some of which were on the DVD, which I guess we could watch at some point. Um, of Cameron Ra with different accents. He was trying to figure out which accent he was going to use, and he did like a Southern accent, like a Cockney accent, and then he was like just did a fucking accent of some actor from the 1930s. Like, it's awesome. But yeah, so Larry wins. Fucking kisses Amelia Earhart a few times in the process. Then she flies them back to New York, which Justin deduced would be impossible, right? The time of which,
Yeah,
because they had to
okay.
get there
I mean,
before sunrise.
it's like already been dark for like the whole movie. And I think they say specifically there's like a few hours. They say like 3 or 5 hours or something. I'm not sure. But I remember like
Yeah. He's like,
literally.
no, he says few. I think he's like standing in the museum after the fight, and he's like, "All right, guys, we gotta get out of here. We only have a few hours to get you back before
Yeah, okay.
sunrise."
So they have to
Yeah,
fly from DC to New York City. And then she has to also fly back to DC in the same night in some shitty ass old plane.
true. I didn't even think about her flying back.
Literally
She's
not
dead.
happening. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, no, there's no way that the fucking Amelia Earhart didn't turn into a mannequin halfway on this flight over fucking like
Yeah.
Virginia. They
Okay,
plummeted to the
honestly,
ground.
nonstop flight is an hour and 20 minutes. So hypothetically, it's possible. It's
Okay.
possible.
Okay, it's definitely possible they got there, but did she get back and get the plane back into the museum on its fucking?
It's okay.
It was on
Abel opened the
strings and
door
shit.
for it. Yeah, Drew's on
Yeah,
wires. Don't know what the
yeah,
fuck they're gonna do there. Also, the fucking giant squid is in the like reflecting.
yeah. There's a conscious moment where Ben Stiller he says that he's like, I got a few hours to get you guys out of here. First, there's something I got to do, and then it cuts to the Washington Memorial Lake, and he lets the squid in there, and he's like, all right, just be back in before sunrise. Like what?
So clearly, they can all just understand English and all know how to get back to the squid. Get back before sunrise. Where's it supposed to go back to? It was in like a fucking wooden crate that has now been destroyed.
Go back in the warehouse and die.
Yeah,
Because wait, was that ever mentioned? Don't they all just not exist, not go back to life anymore after this?
yeah,
Like,
because he took the tablet
yes,
back to New York.
yeah. Fuck those guys, I guess.
So, dude, that's the. I guess that in and of itself is the explanation for why Amelia Earhart is not in the next movie. Not even
I
mentioned.
guess, but
But
also, yeah.
her granddaughter.
I don't even know what to say about that. It's like
Yeah,
so unnecessary and stupid.
that's what I'm
Like
saying.
it's
So, like,
so the movie ends right, and classic
it
like
ends with like a happy museum moment
the,
where like he brings the tablet back and Ricky Gervais is like, what's it? You fixed the museum. You fixed the museum. And he's like, yeah, I just installed. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I've installed a bunch of lifelike robots that only
animatronic
work at night.
like
Yeah,
yeah.
and Ricky Gervais is like,
That's fucking crazy. It's insane. I'm going back to my office now. And
yeah,
then he goes
exactly.
back to
And we
yeah.
hear, oh, insane moment actually, where they do play another Earth, Wind, and Fire
Boogie
song.
Wonderland, possibly my
Right.
favorite Earth, Wind, and Fire song. But yeah, but,
Okay. Anyway,
what do you mean? Oh, did you say okay? What? What? I didn't like that tone. What are you gonna say? It's September. Is that the best Earth, Wind, and Fire song?
obviously, I'm not gonna say
Okay,
September.
Josh Perna. All right.
Yeah, that's a good point. No,
You can't
obviously
tell me
it's
he
Lex.
didn't ruin that song a little bit for you,
Yeah, he did.
guys. If you're out there, comment below if Josh Perna ruined the song "September" for you by blasting it on a fucking boombox the
True.
week of the
I
21st
like
of September.
I like Let's Groove. I think.
Oh wait, that's actually fuck. Oh man,
Anyway,
it might be tied. Anyway, yeah.
point is, that's not even the final song though. It actually ends with "Life in Technicolor" by Coldplay coming on. Well,
Yeah, it just like switches all of a sudden when he sees her.
but it's
Anyway,
it's 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 a kind of a nice scene where it's pointless, right? Like you said, because they don't do
yeah,
anything with it. But like Amy Adams waltzes in the museum, but now she's not in Amelia Earhart clothing. She's in
just
normal
normal.
clothing.
Yeah.
And he sees her and he's like, "Are you related to Amelia Earhart?" And she's like, "Yes, I'm her granddaughter." I'm kidding.
No,
She
she
doesn't say
good
that.
God.
She's like, "No, I've never heard that before." And he's like, "Oh, you just kind of look like her." And she's like, "Okay, cool." And then she's like, "Hey, can you actually show me around the museum so I can suck you off in the bathrooms?" And he's like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And then how about we don't fucking do anything with this relationship that's introduced in the last 30 seconds of the movie, and we don't even
It's
talk
so
about it. We don't even mention it a
stupid.
single time in the third movie.
It's so stupid. I feel like I can't remember what I thought of as a kid, but maybe I was like thought it was more profound than it actually was. Maybe I
Right.
guess my only like I
That's
guess
the actress! That's the same
what?
actress!
She's alive. Yeah.
It's two different characters!
I feel like I maybe thought that it was like her pretending to be human, even though that makes no sense. But like kid logic. You know what I mean? Like,
Of
oh my
course.
god, he actually gets. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's just to make fucking kids be like, oh, he does get to end up with Amelia Earhart in a way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I guess that's the one not negative because it doesn't really impact the movie too much with these movies. But like, Ben Stiller always has to have a romantic interest, whether it services the plot or not. Um, yeah.
I mean,
Anyway,
it does lend his just romantic interest with Emily Earhart lends itself to the hilarious Napoleon bit.
oh, it definitely. Yeah, okay, should we talk about that? um, there's a great scene where Napoleon, being one of Kamun Ra's right hand men, tracks down Ben Stiller and Amy Adams in a hallway and cuts him off and is like, "Okay, we're told according to a YouTube comment, this guy's a big, hilarious French comedian. We don't know
Sure.
his name, but I believe it because it's just a funny scene. Again, this is one of the improv scenes, definitely. Um, he just is like, what does he say? He's like,
Well, first
"So
he
what's the
calls Ben
deal
Stiller.
here?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
he calls Ben Stiller her boyfriend, Amy Adams, and
yeah,
they're both like, "Oh no, we're not together," and he just stares at her for a second, and then like sidesteps over to Ben Stiller and like puts his face really close to his ear,
yeah.
and he does the whole bit where he's like,
He's like,
"So, are you two friends from college who are just too scared to ruin your relationship by telling each other how you feel about each other and that you like each other?"
and Ben Stiller somehow, without laughing, like looks at him like an inch from his face and is like, "What?" It's crazy. And then
What?
he's like, and then he does it again. the
Yeah, he's like,
same, the same shot. Yeah,
I
yeah. He's like,
didn't
"Could you
catch
explain
that.
what you're saying?" Yeah. Do you say that you were friends in college and you were friends with each other and you don't want to ruin the relationship? Just like even
Yeah,
like more
like
like
word
muffled.
for word repeats it. It's
Yeah,
so funny.
it's perfect. Very good. Um, so yeah, I guess we have the romantic tension to thank for that great scene. So good work, guys. Anything else, or should we get to ranking?
Let's just rank it, bro. It's already 11:30.
Yeah. All right. So, hmm, this is good. This is a good movie. This is a good movie. I would
Oh,
like to
dude.
ask you. Yeah.
Boom. Bang. Firepower.
Boom, boom. Firepower. Yeah. Dude, you can't tell me when this movie came out
Oh,
and we were in fucking, I don't know, some fourth
like
grade, some
third.
fifth grade.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. People were quoting that left and right. Okay. It was in every trailer, every TV spot, on everything for this movie. Um,
yeah.
iconic, fucking
You were the
iconic.
funny kid in class if you did
Yeah,
the
if
thing
you just
where.
randomly, yeah,
Yeah.
like it didn't have to make sense. You'd just be like in class and someone would be like, "Boom, boom, firepower."
Yeah.
Anyway,
Dude. Also, the fucking Jonas Brothers angel statues that
oh
just
yeah,
sang "More Than a Woman" by the Bee Gees for some reason.
yeah, it was unnerving.
Dude, it was so funny. Dude, I was literally like jaw dropped when that scene happened.
Jaw dropped. I was just trying to figure out who it was singing. Who was
Yeah,
singing? I
that
thought,
too. I was like, is this
is this Justin Timberlake?
Lonely Island? Dude,
Lonely Island.
can you imagine?
That would be awesome if they just did like
Yeah.
Lonely Island tier bits, but like as cupids.
Yeah.
Oh my god, great. I'd like to ask you, on my ranking list, what do I have on 7 and 8?
Long Came Polly's a 7,
Okay,
and
and Meet the
you don't
Parents
have an 8.
is
Oh, Meet the
I don't have an
Fockers is
8.
also a 7.
Okay, I'd say I
And The
enjoy
Heartbreaker
this.
is also a 7.
Okay, that's interesting. Might have to amend that later, but I I think I enjoyed this a little bit more than those movies. I'm leaning towards a 7.5 right now. What do you think? What are you thinking?
Hmm.
And
7.5
then
is what you gave Cable Guy.
fuck, actually that makes
And
it
I gave
harder.
Cable Guy a 7.
Huh.
I might give this one also a 7.
Yeah, this might be a 7. There might be a lot of sevens going
Yeah.
for me.
You already
But
have a lot of 7s.
we'll work that out in the. I
Right,
don't
right,
know.
right.
Did
Okay.
we say the summary episode? I don't remember. In one of the final
Summary of Stiller or
episodes.
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Speaking of, what's the title of this episode gonna be?
Oh shit. Cecil of Stiller.
Dude, no one would understand it, but that would be an
Yeah,
awesome title. Oh my god.
Cecil? Cecil? Dude, just him yelling that when he like thinks Cecil's in the museum.
Very funny, Cecil.
Yeah. Oh, dude, also just
Yeah.
his hilarious line when he's like he's pissed because the museum came to life against his expectations. And Cecil comes the next morning and he's like, "Oh, Ben Stiller, where are you? How was your first night?" And Ben Stiller like hops out and scares him, and he's like, "Ah!" And
Yeah.
Cecil's like, "Oh, we're too old for surprises." And he's like, oh, really?
You like
I thought you loved
surprises? You like
surprises.
surprises?
What about, oh, the little, oh, I don't know. I don't know, maybe the whole museum comes to life? How about that little sweetheart? Just him, dude, yeah, it
Dude,
was
that's
so good.
peak Ben Stiller. Oh my
Yeah.
god. That's great. Also, like when he jumps out at them in that scene, he looks so like smug.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, yeah.
He's like crazed. I mean, he just watched a
Awesome.
Neanderthal like evaporate.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Honestly, yeah, no.
That little sweetheart. End of the line, cool breeze.
Good God. Okay. Also, isn't Ben Stiller's mom in this movie?
Yeah, she's the lady who gives him the interview where she's like, didn't they already do
Right.
that when he's talking about the snap on? And she's like,
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, no, well, that's the clapper. They're sort of different. Like,
Yeah. No. Shame they didn't get Jerry Stiller in this at some
oh,
point.
dude, yeah, that would have been hilarious.
God. All right. Well, we can move on, I guess, to the final night at the museum. We're making good time here. Um, the Battle of the Tomb, Secret. No, yeah, Secret of the Tomb. I always get mixed up on that name. I barely remember this. I know I had seen it once when it came out. Um, I had like flashes of memory, but really, I just did not know what to expect going in. I know you hadn't seen it at all, right?
True. I hadn't seen it, and
Oh,
I'd only seen Battle of Smithsonian once.
interesting. Okay. Yeah, so this one came out in 2014, which I don't know, sounds like kind of like a more recent. It kind of like at first I was like, what? No, I thought that was like I thought it was staggered more. I thought the first one was like 2003, and then the next one was like 2007. You know what I'm saying? So I don't
2003,
know.
bro. That'd have been crazy.
What did it have?
Dude, it's 3 years. It really wouldn't have been different.
It would have been crazy. Would have been
That would have been absurd. Dude,
2003.
speaking of unironic absurdity, Bam Margera at Sarasota's Payne Park.
Yes, Darian was messaging me. I'm the one who told Darian. Oh my God. So Darian sent me a photo of him just like sitting there at
Yeah.
the park, and I was like, "Why aren't you guys getting a picture with him?" And he was like, "Well, I'm like kind of scared." I'm like, "Get a picture with him." I mean, I'm like, "Don't do it." Obviously, like if he doesn't seem like he's up for it, but like
Right.
if he seems like he's up for it, you should try to get a picture. And so right after that, he got a picture with him. Both of them got a picture. So,
It's crazy. Why is he in Sarasota of all random cities?
I don't know. I know that he wasn't on the newest Jack. I haven't seen it. He wasn't on the newest Jackass because
He was in
he.
one bit.
Okay, well, I read that he wasn't in it at all, or wasn't featured in it because of, like he didn't pass a drug test slash like wasn't showing up on time or something that are like the rest of the Jackass crew like didn't want to deal with his shit, so to speak, and they didn't like renew his contract or whatever. Um, I don't know. Anyway. I don't know why he's in Sarasota.
Insane though.
Good. I mean, yeah, that's cool. Dude, imagine if Steve-O was in Sarasota.
Did I tell you I saw Steve-O live in Tallahassee?
Yeah, you talked on the podcast. Actually, you were talking about
Okay.
getting tickets to that show.
Right. Oh, true. Yeah.
But I mean, you didn't tell us how it went. How'd it go?
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, not to like roast Steve-O, but the issue I found with it is okay. No, I was gonna say it seemed like a lot of it was just like recycled material from his YouTube channel, but that's not true. He actually primarily did show like new content, which is the whole point of the thing, is that it's like stuff you can't see anywhere else. He's very strict on like recording of it because obviously when half the show is him showing videos, if you can
Yeah.
see the videos elsewhere, it defeats the entire purpose of it.
So half the show is just him like, yeah, dude, this one's crazy. Like this one, I fucking
That's
bad.
that is That surprised me how fucking good that was.
I thought I'd try it out. You know.
That literally sounded like him.
Have you guys seen the newest Night in the Museum movie? Shit is crazy, bro.
Well, he
Red
will.
Stiller. Yeah,
Yeah, dude. He okay. He
that's you have the intonation right. I feel like I have like the I'm able to
you get the
manipulate my
right
throat.
gurgle. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it hurts, but it works.
Um, he will like introduce a skit or like a concept in the form kind of like telling a story mixed with like stand up comedy, and then it'll lead up to him then showing.
Here's me doing it. Here's me chomping on a brick, and then he
No,
like
but he
shows it.
doesn't
Yeah.
actually. He leaves the stage when that happens.
Oh, that's
He'll
cool.
just walk off stage, and then it'll darken or whatever, and the screen will play the skit, and then he'll come back out and move on to the next one, I
Yeah.
guess.
That sounds
So
fun.
like, yeah, it was pretty sick. And also Preston Lacey was there, which was insane. He like opened for Steve-O.
Oh shit.
And I don't know if you've seen any of Steve-O's Wild Ride podcast, but
No.
I think his producer or someone, he like appears regularly on the podcast. I don't remember his name or what position he has, but he's something. He works with Steve-O and something. He also opened for Steve-O as well. There was like two opening, if you can call it that. I don't know.
Gotcha.
And then Steve-O came out and did it.
It's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right. I don't know how we start talking about this, but Secret of the Tomb. Once again directed by Sean Levy.
Land Debbie? Dude, what the
I was
fuck?
reading. I was reading. This is written by David Goyne, so I think I read David.
Dude.
Misinput. A little mix up. So this was both we should mention features a posthumous role from both Rob. It was recorded right before when this released. Both of these actors were deceased. Robin Williams and Mickey Rooney.
It was their last on-screen performances for both of them.
Yep. And so this movie, okay, it's interesting. This movie opens with I guess you don't know it's a flashback right away. I don't even know if you could describe. I don't know how to describe it, but the intro is like not ancient Egypt, like archaeological discovering of Egypt, so like 1930s.
Yeah.
Indiana
Jones tier.
Yes, Indiana Jones tier. There's even a guy who like is very clearly like an Indiana Jones ripoff, who is the dad of the little boy. Anyway, little boy, son of the Indiana Jones tier dude, discovers a tomb by like falling into it during a sandstorm, basically, and the locals are like, you can't take it. If you take it, the end will come. And the dude's like, no, yeah, I don't give a shit. Take it, and takes it. We later learned that this little boy was Cecil. What? For some reason. And then the movie opens. So now we're 70 years later. Larry is still the guard at the Museum of Natural History, and he's
now he's like
hosting
event coordinator tier.
Yeah, he's like hosting like benefits and stuff for the museum. And at this point, the entire public thinks that all the museum exhibits are just animatronics. Anyway, there's also Ricky Gervais's character, we're told, has commissioned a new exhibit, a new caveman exhibit, and as a joke, modeled him after Ben Stiller. And this introduces Law, the caveman, played by Ben Stiller also, which is possibly the best part of this whole movie.
Possibly the best part of the movie, or funniest at least.
Yeah.
Despite when I first saw it, I thought it was potentially going to be one of the least funny parts of the movie.
I just didn't think it was going to be featured as prominently. I was like, okay, they're just going to do this first scene and then like one scene at the end. I did not think he was going to be a fucking like main sideshow exhibit that travels with Larry throughout the movie. Anyway, so yeah, that happens before the thing starts. You get a funny scene there. Then the event starts and everything goes wrong all of a sudden. Oh my god, all the exhibits are malfunctioning. Teddy Roosevelt is like fucking having a stroke. Like Those
True.
parts were
He
kind of
like pulls out
insane.
his
Like,
gun and points it at Ben Stiller's
yeah,
head.
and then like there's moments throughout this where this happens, and Robin Williams just like, I guess I don't know if he's ad libbing, but he's like doing lines of different presidents. He's like, "That's not what you can do for your country. That's what your country can do," and just like pointing his gun at people and shit. Just pretty funny. And then so Larry's like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then he goes to a retirement home, leading to great cameo for Cecil, which I wasn't a big fan of the intro. I didn't think it made much sense. The whole local saying the end will come only ends up only applying to the museum exhibits, not coming back to life. Feels like they kind of over dramatized that part. I don't know. In the end, I guess it was worth it to get a Cecil cameo. But yeah, we get Cecil. Also, Gus is there. Mickey Rooney's there.
True.
And Cecil's like, "Yes, the locals. They said the end will come, and I guess it means the museum's ending or something." And Cecil was like, "Yes, Ahmed and Ra's parents be the only ones to restore the tablet, but they're in the British Museum in London." And so Larry goes to Ricky Gervais, who is getting fired due to this incident, and it convinces him to ship Ahmed Ra to London so that he can restore the tablet. So Larry takes his son, who's now a fucking like senior in high school or something. Okay, so that's another part of this movie is there's this underlying arc where Larry's son doesn't want to go to college and wants to go like DJ in Ibiza,
True.
uh,
And Ibiza.
in Ibiza. Uh, so Larry's like, "No, what the fuck, dude? You have to go to college." And he's like, "Nah, man, I don't want to. Come on." Um, I don't know how to.
Also, not the
I don't.
same actor for the kid, I don't think.
No, definitely not. Definitely not the same. Um, I don't know. What you think of this arc in the movie?
Of what about the movie?
The arc of his son being in this movie. I guess like, yeah,
Didn't really
that's
care
fair.
about the kid.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Anyway, they go to the fucking London and they sneak into the museum. Of course, Rebel Wilson is there as the guard of the museum. Um, and he has also stowed some other exhibits there. Or I guess no, they've stowed themselves, like Teddy Roosevelt, Sacagawea,
Dexter.
Attila, Dexter.
We haven't even talked about how funny Attila is.
True, dude.
Dude,
Attila,
his screaming in the first movie.
yeah, when they're running up to each other. And then Ben Stiller's like, "Hoopa chaka."
Yeah.
It's so good. Of course, when he's like crying and he's like hugging him and shit.
Oh,
So good.
dude, that scene. I think maybe Daddy Attila left the tent and left little baby Attila all alone. And dude, like, the guy behind Attila is like tearing up a little bit, and Ben Stiller just like points him and he like mouths.
"You're next."
And he just goes.
It's awesome. The first movie is fucking perfect, dude. Anyway, going back to this one. Um, oh, guess who else has come along? La, the caveman. So there's a little bit where he's like telling him to stay and guard the door, but he
Dude,
doesn't
Ben
do
Stiller just like hates Law. That's like the bit in the movie. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, this Joker.
it. Yeah. And all the law scenes are funny, which we'll tell you about more. So they start searching the museum. This museum, it's a lot. It's a different vibe. There's more like abstract art that's come to life and is shown as kind of like zombie tier when they come to life, right? Um, you
True.
know,
I think that's
there's
probably the coolest scene in the movie, which they did not do nearly enough with, is when they
that's
first
why I
get
didn't
into
really
the
pick it. Yeah,
museum.
they didn't
What
do
was
anything.
true? What was really cool was actually like seeing the shit that you, and that's the thing I could never relate to about the first two movies, because I've never been to the Museum of Natural History in New York, nor have I been to any of the museums in DC.
Yeah,
But I've been to the British Museum, so seeing all of the exhibits that I actually know exist there was very cool.
that's
You know what I
cool.
mean? So
Yeah,
like the classic example is like all of the like deformed and disfigured statues that are all missing pieces. They're like shambling around, like like all the like Greek and like Mesopotamian statues and shit that are like missing arms and shit are just like hobbling around. And it's like this silent, all you hear is like the dragging of like stone on stone of these statues
yeah.
like walking on the floor. And it's just like these fucked up bodies walking around in this dark room. Very cool, very atmospheric. And they didn't really do anything with it, even though I think Evan might have pointed this out when we were talking about it right after watching it, because ironically we watched the third movie with Evan Lamall, but
Right.
none of the other ones.
Which which kind of sucked because I was like, we're getting Evan on, who's like notoriously
True.
a uh, a prolific film critic
Yes.
in a good way. For the worst one, I was like, damn,
True.
it was just my
But it
luck.
was funny though.
Yeah, no, it was funny.
But he mentioned like Teddy Roosevelt. He's like Ben Stiller's like, Jesus, these statues are fucked, and Teddy's like, yeah, it's their first night coming to
Yeah,
life. You know, you should have
yeah, I
seen
caught
us.
that
Like,
too.
you should have seen us
Yeah,
when our
we weren't
first.
all there when we for our first night either, or something like
Takes
that.
some getting used to, which would have been cool to
Just
see
like
more about
that
the
would be
museum.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a
Um,
horror show. Yeah.
Something that was cool was at one part of the British Museum they have these just like these pillars and then
Hmm.
like little metal. You know how like when they want to display something that should be floating, but obviously they can't have something floating, so it's like up on a little metal stick.
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's like giant pieces of larger statues that aren't intact anymore, and it's just like, for example, it's just a hand or like part of a head or something. They had those in the background in one scene. They're just like walking, and you can just see in the background. It's just like literally just chunks of body parts that are just like writhing in the background on these pillars. I thought it was really
Yeah, that's
cool.
cool. Yeah, definitely. Um, right, and of course, like they encounter the Triceratops
True.
thing. And so it's like, I got this, and like tries to play fetch with him. Obviously, he doesn't. They run. They get saved by fucking Sir Lancelot. It's like possibly the worst part of this movie. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just feel like he had a lot of potential that kind of just stupid. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, he saves them, and they find Achman-Ra's parents. Ben Kingsley plays Achman-Ra's dad, which is insane,
True.
and some other woman plays mother. Um, these
The
names
Jewel
are
of the
crazy.
Nile.
Jewel of the Niles, Jewels of the. So what happens after this?
Robin
I
Williams
think
voices a little Tibetan statue that tries to warn them about.
yeah, he's like also Robin Williams is like one like the Tibetan statue like hobbles over to them, and Robin Williams is like it's from Tibet, and
Yeah,
then
sure.
the Robin Williams Tibet statue says random shit, and then uh,
There's a giant dragon they have to fight,
it's a giant yes.
which Ben
Also,
Stiller defeats by
which
defibrillating.
right, and also his son is like bonding with Sir Lancelot for some reason, which never comes up again. But like, there's this like underlying theme where they're like, he's treating Sir Lancelot like better than his dad, and like Ben Stiller's
Right.
jealous.
And it's hinting this whole time there's something like kind of off putting about Lancelot.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So. Oh. Okay. And then they're like, you have to. His Akmanar's parents are like, you have to bathe the tablet in moonlight to restore its power. And Lancelot's like, hold on, is this the fucking Holy Grail? And then like steals the the tablet and starts charging through London.
Yeah,
Eventually going into uh, a musical with Hugh Jackman in it. It has a little funny theatrical scene with Hugh Jackman.
true.
Um, it was okay, and then they get to the roof of the theater, and they like confront Lancelot. Um, Lancelot like eventually fucking gives up the tablet. They restore it, and then at the end of the movie, they decide that the tablet should stay with Atman Ra and his parents, even though this means the New York exhibits will never come to life. Uh, until will no longer come to life. So they're all at peace with that though, and they do it. So they go back to New York. Larry says goodbye to all the exhibits, and then leaves the museum for the last final time. And then we open 3 years later. Larry is now a school teacher. He's a school teacher. Don't question it. He's a school teacher.
Why do I have no memory of this?
I don't. He's a school teacher. Wait. I smell bullshit. This Wikipedia is fucked up. When do they mention that he's a school teacher?
Dude, how does the movie end?
Okay, here's my memory. This is not the wiki. This is my memory. My memory is it's 3 years later, and Rebel Wilson shows up with all the New York exhibits as part of like a traveling exhibit.
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais is there, and he's like, "Oh shit, you brought them all back." She's like, "Yeah, we're traveling exhibit," and the tablet's there obviously, so they all come to life again. It's a big party because they're fucking alive again for the night. And then we cut to the outside of the museum. This is my memory. We cut to the outside of the museum, and Ben Stiller is like disheveled. He looks like half like homeless, and is looking at the museum. And then it cuts to black. He's like looking at the museum from the street. Which I know you said that he'd probably go in, but I think it was a weird way to end it in my book. I don't know.
He's not like a half homeless. I'm literally watching it right now.
Is it just me? I don't know. He just looked disheveled. I don't know.
Oh wait, I was looking at the wrong scene. Let's see. Rebel Wilson. Everybody's there, including Lancelot. Rebel Wilson and Law make out.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Oh yeah, I mean he's not half homeless looking. He just has scruff.
Okay, I don't know why.
He's
in my mind,
shaven.
Yeah, he clearly has taken this hard.
Yeah, when does it fucking say he's a school teacher?
Yeah, no, that's bullshit. We gotta correct the Wikipedia on that because they simply do not mention he's a school teacher. What?
I'm like looking. He doesn't have any lines after the 3 years later.
He doesn't. They don't show him till that last fucking frame. Yeah. That's some bullshit, bro. That's an actual mistake on Wikipedia. All right.
Also, terrible moment. The third one doesn't end with an Earth, Wind, and Fire song.
It actually ends with "Got to Be Real," right?
Yes.
Which is a great song and also iconic from personally my childhood, but.
Speak for yourself, kid.
I did. I said personally my childhood. It was in fact me speaking for myself.
Go! Dum Dum.
Yes?
You give me Gum Gum.
I give you Gum Gum?
You do Dum Dum. You give me Gum Gum.
Gee, okay. You know what? I have no Gum Gum, sorry. And my name isn't Dum Dum. My name's Larry.
No, your name Dum Dum.
That happened.
I don't have Gum Gum.
Yeah, I did not know it was going to be a fucking 30-second long clip, but...
What was that?
I just typed in Night at the Museum soundbite to add stuff to the soundboard while we were talking, and then it just said Dum Dum, so I assumed it was going to just be Dum Dum and Gum Gum, and that'd be it. I didn't think it was going to be a whole little mini scene.
That was pretty funny, though.
It was funny. Alright, anyway... what were we talking about? That
song.
Yeah, Got to Be Real. I think it's a good choice. Like, it fits the vibe of the other ending music, but yeah.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. It is, in fact, not the same. One scene we didn't mention is another possibly top 3 scenes for me in the movie.
True.
With Larry and the caveman. They're trapped in that break room in the museum. You remember this?
Rebel Wilson locks him up.
Yes, he locks him up with the caveman, and it's funny. Ben Stiller's like ranting about like his son and like the situation he's in, and Law is imitating him, of course. Like Larry like sits down at some point and like slams his like flashlight onto the table, and Law slams a giant bone onto the table.
Sure.
And he's like, I just wish that he would go to college and then take a break. And Law's like, ugh, college. I was like,
Yeah.
just mocking him. And at some point in the middle, just like puts his hand in like a toaster and gets like shocked for like 10 seconds. It's hilarious. Just great scene.
I think for me, the funniest part is just him like just mimicking Ben Stiller's actions,
Oh, yeah.
just seemingly for no purpose.
Yeah.
And also just pulling out the bone from literally nowhere.
The bone, the comically large bone.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's so good. Yeah. Anything else we should mention before we wrap it up?
Nah, can't think of anything.
Ranking moment. This is
Yeah.
gonna be rough. What do I have on 5 and 6?
Little
If
Foxes is
anything.
5. Something About Mary is 6.5. That's it.
Okay. See, it's weird to say this. Maybe not to you, but maybe to other people. But like, I feel like I enjoy Little Fockers a little bit more than this.
I
Just a
actually
tad bit more. Like if Little Fockers is a 5 for me, I would have to give this like a 4.5.
That's what I'm giving mine as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 because, well, there were some funny scenes I wasn't expecting. Doesn't get close to redeeming this plot, or just how this felt. I don't know. Like most of this just felt like I said this to you guys when we watched it, but it felt like kind of like gray and
Yeah.
drab to me. And I know that like part of this is the museum is gray, and I understand that, but like I mean like tonally like gray.
True.
Which isn't not, and that's not a bad thing either. It just didn't feel earned. I don't know. It felt like it was just kind of all over the place. Weak plot. Had some okay moments, but at the same time, I'd rather rewatch Little Fockers because I know that it has like a Little Fockers has like a somewhat better plot and a lot more scenes that I laughed out loud at. So you know what I mean.
Yeah,
That's why I place it
exactly.
below Little Fockers. Any other thoughts?
Nah. Probably if you're gonna watch them, you might skip
One.
the third one, TBH.
Yeah, just watch 1 and 2. Like, yeah, just watch 1 and 2. I mean, watch 3 if you want, but I can't promise you'll think it was a good use of your time. If anything, literally just look up the fucking scenes that we liked on YouTube. Like, the caveman scenes.
Yeah.
Literally. But yeah, wow, this is kind of insane. We did 3 movies in under 2 hours. That's kind of crazy. We work hard when we have to.
Yes, not in terms of scheduling and actually recording it, though.
Okay, well, I'm available mostly every day. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's fair enough.
Not to, you know. So what's next for Summer of Stiller, guys? Well, let me tell you. Episode 5, Starsky and Hutch, Dodgeball, and Mystery Men. Now, I can't tell you when this will come out. But listen, guys, there's school.
Yeah,
You
guys,
guys know
we're
there's
gonna-
school. There's
We're
school
gonna
going
finish
on.
before September 23rd.
We're gonna do Starsky and Hutch, Dodgeball, Mystery Men, Zoolander, Duology, Tropic Thunder, The Watch, Greenberg, Merriwood Stories, Secret Life of Walter Mitty, Madagascar franchise, Megamind, and Elmo's Christmas Countdown.
And
All
Flirting
in 2
Disaster,
weeks.
maybe.
And possibly Flirting with Disaster, all by September 23rd, 28th, whatever. It's wow. I think, should we set a new goal?
Are we going to set the goal, or are we just going to keep calling it summer, even long after summer?
No, we're always going to call it summer. But should we like realign the goal of, like, is it no longer Berlin Thunder? Should we be like, it's going to be finished before 2022 is over? Like,
Yeah,
God,
sure.
I would hope so. Like,
It's 2022 summer.
Thanksgiving? I don't know. Almost Christmas Countdown. Christmas.
Genius. The season of Stiller really is what this is.
Really is. But it's too late to change the branding of it.
True.
I don't know. But we will, guys, like, you know, you guys know how it goes with school. Justin has a girlfriend, you know, he's trying to work on getting his Instagram back. You know, these things take time. Are you actually working on getting your Instagram back? Well, because they want to know. The people want to know.
Okay. Would I like to? Yes. Here's what I'm
I told you, you just have to send that email. They will do it.
Dude, so you say. I looked it up online.
It
Everyone
worked
said
for
they
me.
will not respond. How long ago was that, though?
To be fair, that was like 10th grade or something.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is worth just sending an email. But here's the thing. Here's the part I'm really pissed about. And, like, we can, I guess, get into this if you want. The point is, he deleted all of my old posts.
Yeah, and I don't know if it...
I was going to say the hope
is that you get the followers.
No, okay, that would be hilarious. I get fucking 10,000 like bot accounts or something. Like it serves no purpose, but it's funny to just have. But like my posts are all getting like 30 likes or something, and I have like over 10,000 followers. Anyway, the hope is that maybe he just archived them because I don't have any other way of like accessing those photos. Because once I make a post on Instagram, I would just delete it because I just assumed in my mind.
You don't use like a Google Photos, iCloud, like whatever.
I use Google Photos now, but it's very recent.
Back then, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, like
he's just
really hilarious pictures, like some like compilations from like a trip I went on or some shit, and it's just like he just fucking deleted them to post.
Yeah, I doubt that he would go through the trouble of pressing archive instead of delete.
Exactly.
To be honest,
obviously wouldn't have.
So maybe is it time to make a new Instagram?
No, because I don't really see the need.
Filmatic.
Yeah. Okay. I guess, but like,
you know, staying in touch with people.
I didn't really talk to. Like really,
no, but you saw them and silently liked their photos, you know.
Yeah, some of them. I feel like I really was just a lot of time wasted on like Instagram.
No, that's fair. That's really fair.
Which I
maybe you should just take this opportunity. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a good point, actually. It'd be sad to see you go, but you're welcome to log in on the Filmatic account anytime.
Yeah. Well,
maybe you could. Maybe that's what you can do. You can.
No. Maybe I'll make a new account for our new non-movie centric podcast.
For the comedy podcast.
What's it called?
Jesus, God, dude, I don't know.
What if we just make Summer of Stiller? It's a podcast about Ben Stiller.
Shit, I mean, maybe.
When are we gonna get Derry on here? I feel like he'll have
been a while.
Some Ben Stiller insight. I feel like I've talked to him about Ben Stiller before.
No, he did watch the Meet the Parents trilogy when we were doing the episode, but like after we posted it. No, we should get Darian on. The problem is with Summer of Stiller, we talked about this, is like it's not very accessible to the general public, considering you have to watch like 3 movies at a time to be caught up for an episode. But I think for the Zoolander duology, we'll be able to get some people because it's only 2 movies. It's sequel tier, you know what I mean? Like that's fairly accessible. I'm going to say let's shoot for that. Let's shoot for getting some people on the Zoolander episode. But that's like 2 months from now. No, we can do better than that. Come on.
Okay, we're going to reach out to Colton. We're going to ask him
which
episodes seem interesting.
I'll do that tonight. So yeah, we're going to reach out to Colton. We're going to get some people on the Zoolander episode. I think what we're going to do, and we'll talk about this personally, but I think we're going to come up with some sort of system where we can watch the movies quicker, maybe watch them independently again.
Right, yeah.
Right, because that seemed to make things go quicker before. But yeah, anyway. We will be coming back soon. Whether it's Summer of Stiller or something else, I will post something. So,
true.
Yeah. Any final words for the people?
Nah.
People? Like, look at Madagascar when the whole movie, like, Alex is like, the people! You know what I'm talking about?
Right, of course. You bit the hand, Marty. You bit the hand.
And when it's the people, and they're all like running to. Eventually it's gonna be the lemurs, but they're running because they hear the music.
True.
And Alex like hits a spider web, trips on a log, like rolls a few fucking 100 feet.
Yeah.
Dude, Madagascar is gonna be a fun
Like
episode.
runs into a palm tree and the coconut falls on his head.
Ow! He doesn't say that there, but Dude, me when wait, hold on, let me try. Me when called me out on Twitter. Do you remember this for having the generic podcast logo? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, hold up.
I put in the chat.
Oh, he's so true. So true.
I mean, what's the deal with? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But if you remember, the reason I brought that up is I responded to her with the, "Could you give a guy a break?"
I do remember that, actually.
And she didn't respond.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean, come on. All right, well.
Funny reaction to it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I thought it was perfect.
Some features on recording Zencaster might not work until you clear data other sites have stored on your devices, because I have like 30 Reddit tabs open at the same time.
30 Reddit tabs? What the fuck are you looking at?
It's just random posts that I'm like gonna go back to later because I didn't want to read them in the moment.
You know you can save posts, right?
Yeah, fuck that.
Okay. Fuck that. Let me crash my computer.
Choose sites to clear. Oh, it's like actual data stored. Fucking hell.
Okay, well we should. Jeez, I did not even mean to. I literally. What the fuck, dude? I literally did not mean to do that. Okay, anyway, we're gonna wrap it up and we'll figure that out right now. But guys, stay tuned. More Filmatic is coming soon, no matter what. So, comment for the Suicide Squad DVD and stay tuned at Filmatic Podcast on Instagram, at the Fish King. Never mind. At Nabeel Sharif on Instagram. You've been listening to Filmatic with
Justin Fischler
and Nabeel Sharif. We'll see you next time.
Go!
Dad?
Dum Dum,
Yes?
you give me gum gum.